everybody! So today we are going to be making Nutella cookies, and the reason that I chose these is because they are super easy for you to do. My class are also learning about weighing and weighing things with a cup, so baking things only using a cup, not necessarily specific measurements. So I thought this was the perfect activity for you guys to be able to do at home. All you need for this is 1 egg, 1 cup of flour, or 150 grams roughly, and then 1 cup of Nutella, which averages out to roughly 240 grams of Nutella. And that's it. That's all that we need. So I've got my bowl here. I'm just going to turn on my scales. I've put my scales here just in case the measurements are a little bit out, because my cup is very, very small. So anyway, I need to add 150 grams or 1 cup of flour, and I've just got plain flour, all-purpose flour. So I'm just going to pour this into my cup. I'm going to do it over my bowl just in case I spill anything. Okay, so I'm going to pour that in. Oh, it's close. It was 129, but I did say that my cup was a little bit small, so I'm just going to pour a little bit extra in. And I've got 148. So I have 2 grams away from 150, so that's perfect. That's all that I need. So that's done. I'm then going to use this cup to put the Nutella in, just to weigh it out, because it says 1 cup should be roughly 240 grams. So I'm just going to pierce this and get that open. And then what I'm going to do is set my scales back to 0, just to make sure that these measurements are accurate too. So I'm just going to take 1 large spoon of the, oh, I got that stuck in my nails, of the chocolate Nutella, pop that into the cup. It's a little bit messy. What I'm going to do, boys and girls, is I'm going to get a little teaspoon, and I'm going to use this to just push the chocolate off 1 spoon and into my cup. So I'm just pushing that into my cup so that you can see. I need to add a little bit more. How many grams have I actually got in this jar? Do we know? 350. So if I need to use 240 of it, and there's 350 in there, what's the difference? How many grams will I have left in my jar? That's right, so 350 take away 240 is 110. So I'm going to now add that chocolate in and see how much that weighs. Oh, so that's only actually 166, but that's because, boys and girls, I didn't squish it so that the cup was really full, just because I've got the weighing scales just to make sure that they are accurate for you. And my house is so cold that this Nutella is cold, and it's just bent my spoon. So hopefully you don't do that to your mum and dad's spoons too. I'll have to hide this one from my mum so that she doesn't find out. So I've got 216, so I'm just going to get about 1 more half spoon and add that in. Hopefully that should be close, to 240. Perfect, okay, 246. And I have a really, really wonky bent spoon, so be really careful with that. You might want to use a harder spoon than I did. Okay, so that's done, and then I'm going to use the same cup again to crack my egg to make sure that any shell doesn't go into my mixture. Pop the shell on the side. I'm actually going to pop mine in the spoon, and then double check that there's no shell and pour it in to my mixture. And boys and girls, that's all we need for today. So I'm just going to take that off my weighing scales, and then I'm going to start stirring. I'm going to use the same spoon because there's some egg left over and some chocolate, and I don't want to waste any. So I'm just going to start mixing this in. Now it is going to be quite tough at first because the Nutella is quite tricky to mix. It's quite hard. So you might need to ask a parent to help you with this at first. And I think what I'm actually going to do is use my wooden spoon, because I think, I could be wrong, I think that might be a little bit easier for me. So just got to get all of this mixing together. And the more that you mix this, the softer that the chocolate is going to go, because the more you play with it, the more it's going to start to melt. So I'm just making sure that that egg and the Nutella and the flour is just all mixed in well together. And it smells lovely in here because all I can smell is Nutella. Now, while you're doing this, can you ask a parent or an older sibling, just an adult, to help you set your oven to 180 degrees? Because that's the temperature that we are going to cook our cookies on. Now, I've already done mine ready because I did it just before I started so that I didn't have to leave this video. And what I am going to do is, you should mix it with your spoon, but I am going to start using my hands because it's tougher. I think it will melt quicker in my hands and it will be a lot easier for me to mix. So I'm just going to get my hands in there. It's definitely much easier using my hands than it is to use the spoon. Just make sure that you get all of the flour up, because quite often the flour can get stuck on the bottom of the bowl and we don't want to waste any. All of that needs to be mixed in to the chocolate. And it is going to make quite a tough dough, but you just need to keep mixing it until all of the flour and egg is blended into the chocolate. Oh, I've dropped some over the side. This does smell delicious though. Can't wait to try these when they're finished. Okay, just keep going. Any bits that you drop over the side, you can just pick those up after. And I'm just trying to make sure that I get rid of any of the lumps of flour that I might have in my dough. But don't worry, because you're not going to be able to get rid of every single lump that you have in there. You are going to still be able to see some white bits in your mixture. So don't worry too much about that. I'm just using my spoon a little bit more to blend it all together. It's nearly there now. But I do agree you might need some help, but it is quite tricky. So I'm just going to pick this up now and try and mix it all into one ball. Okay, now I think that mine is pretty much done. So then what you need to do once your dough is ready is you need to roll a ball that's the size of roughly 2 tablespoons. So this is the tablespoon, and you need enough dough that is roughly the size of 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to take a little bit off. Okay, and I think that's going to be big enough for me. So I'm just squishing it all together in my hand to make sure that it's all stuck together. And then I'm just rolling it very gently into a ball. Okay. And then once you've rolled that into a ball, you pop that onto a tray, which you need to put baking paper on or greaseproof paper, okay? So I'm going to pop that on there. Now, I've already got mine ready because my secret trick, as you will know if you've watched any of the other videos, is that I usually put a book on it just to stop it all curling up, because it really, really annoys me when all the paper curls and then I go to put something on it and I can't use it. Okay, so I'm just squishing that in my hand so it's going a little bit softer. Don't hold it for too long, because the last thing we want is the chocolate to melt in our hands. I'm just making sure that it's all stuck together. Okay, and then rolling that really nicely into a circle. Okay, fantastic. I'm going to pop that on my tray. Now make sure, boys and girls, that you leave a little bit of a gap between them, because we're not going to leave them in that shape. We are going to squish them down a little bit. Okay, number 3 is done. Next one. So pushing it in my fingers so it's going a little bit softer, making sure that it's all sticking together nicely. and just rolling into a ball. And remember, roughly 2 tablespoons, and try and make sure that you keep them about the same size, because otherwise they're going to cook unevenly in the oven. So it's really important that you make sure that you haven't got loads of variations and loads of different sizes. Okay, so I'm just rolling that again. Okay, so far I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 I've got so far. And I'm not putting them too close together because, like I said, I don't want them all to stick together in the oven. I would be gutted if all of them stuck together. So I've just got some more dough, squishing it all together in my hands. I think I need a little bit more for that one. Tiny bit more. And I'm just squishing it together so to make sure that it's all stuck. And then rolling it into a ball. Oh, this one's got a little bit of a hole in it, so I'm just going to make sure I stick that back together. Okay, fantastic. Oh, this one doesn't want to stick. Every time it starts to stick, it starts to break again. So you've just got to hold it a little bit in your hands. There we go, and then it will start to melt and it's ready. Oh, I dropped that one to go onto the tray. And then hopefully I'm going to make 2 more. But these bits in my bowl are a little bit crumbly. Okay. I think, boys and girls, I might only be able to make this 1 more. I don't think I'm going to have enough to make 2 because I've done mine quite big. So just sticking that together, holding it in my hands a little bit so that it melts. And then rolling it out into a ball. Okay, so all of mine are done and they're on my tray, nice and spread out to make sure that they don't stick together. And then you can either use your fingertips or you can use the bottom of a glass or a cup to squish them down so that they're flatter. So I'm actually going to use the bottom of my cup and then I'm just going to squish each one of them down. Okay. 1, 2. Oh, I've got imprints on mine. I'm going to use my fingertips for some of them. Oh, hold that one off. I've actually gone over the other ones as well with my fingertips because I think it looks nicer with the pattern of my fingertips than it did with the pattern of the bottom of the cup. Okay, I'm just going to move them a little bit further apart if I can. Now mine are still nice and thick, so remember that they do need to be a little bit thick. You don't want them too thin. And then on to the last one. Okay, fantastic. So now you can see I have got 7 Nutella cookies ready to go into my oven. So what you need to do now is ask an adult to help you put it in the oven because that is going to be hot. Leave it in there for about 8 to 10 minutes. Leave them to cool for 5 minutes when they come out because you don't want to burn yourselves when you eat them because they will be very hot. And that's all you need to do. So I hope you've enjoyed and I'll see you in the next video. I think we are going to make pancakes for Pancake Day. See you then. Bye.